All right. Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Mawasar.
Shalom, shalom. The brother Shemua.
Right. And as you see in the title, we continuing with our remembrance of our forefathers and foremothers. But this week, we going into the foremother Susanna, man. Now look, if you ain't read history of Susanna, you missing out. And I'm sure this brother can attest to that, man. Look, Susanna was different. Susanna was on a whole nother level. And that's why we got to bring it out for the people on the live. So I'm going to read the title with the description, and then I'm going to let the brother get in there. All right, this is in the Apocrypha. This in the Apocrypha, the history of Susanna. It says, the history of Susanna, set apart from the beginning of Daniel, because it is not in the Hebrew, as neither the narration of Bel and the dragon. Right, so this is around the time of Daniel. Right, when we reading about Susanna and all of the mighty things that she did in her lifetime. What you got out?
Damn, man. About to get into our full mother, Susanna. Right? And all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Hello, well, and brothers, sisters, and children are enduring, keeping the faith, and keeping watch, you know, and having a balance in this thing, right? But yeah, we finna go into history of Susanna, man. Right? We learned about Joseph. Let's learn about Susanna. Mighty for you can learn about your foremothers too. It ain't all about just a man. Like I say, there's mighty women in the Bible that had the fear of the Lord. All right, let's get a precept. Let's go to Jade. Let's go to Job 8:8. All right, this book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers." So you got to prepare yourself to the search of your fathers, man. You got to search your fathers out, your foremothers, your ancestors. You got to inquire of that, search diligently of your foremothers, your ancestors. I mean, how are you going to learn the things of life, especially them knowing who their God is, right? So it says, prepare thyself to the search of their fathers, right? It says, for we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. So a man days are few. So if you're not learning about your ancestors, learning about the Most High, learning how they deal with afflictions, certain situations, stress, turmoil, all different phases of life. If you're not learning these things, you ain't learning nothing at all. There's people going through stuff that's literally happened to our ancestors 10 times worse, and they don't even know how to deal with it. They don't even know the name of the Lord. So it's best for you to go in this Bible and look up, search the acts of your forefathers, right? So we in the history of Susanna, right? If brother ain't got no precept, we can kick it off through the spirit, all right? So this history of Susanna, right? Verse 1, it says, there dwelt a man in Babylon called Joachim, and he took a wife whose name was Susanna, the daughter of Kelsias, a very fair woman, and one that feared the Lord. Right? There's very few that a woman feared the Lord. Right? Very few. Let's get a precept. All right. Let's get a precept. Let's go to a nice little classic, man. Got many precepts, right? This Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? But fools despise wisdom and instruction, right? It says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So Susanna had the fear of the Lord. She had knowledge. She had wisdom. She had understanding. Most importantly, she feared the Lord, man. Right? Renowned, it says her parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of the Most High. Now, a quick question. What people that are not teaching their daughters the law of Moses, that's not actually raising their daughters in the law of the Most High, their children, right? Let's get a precept on that. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. All right. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Because you have to train a child while they're little. If you don't do it while they're small, if you don't do it before they walk, best believe when they get older, they won't have respect for you. All right. They won't even know how to they won't even know how to walk life. They'll just be doing whatever they want to do. No type of fear, no type of awareness, just nothing, right? So you have to train up a child the way you should go, and her parents done that. We have no type of order in this place. Kids doing whatever they want to do. They YNs, the fathers, they YNs themselves, but they grown. The mother, she just doing whatever she want to do. She Damn, whatever arrow that's thrown in her target, she let it land. All hell breaking loose, man. It says our parents also were righteous. What parents you know that are righteous today? I mean, it's not a lot. That's a huge nation. The Lord said there's only going to be a remnant that's going to be saved, right? It says our parents also were righteous and taught their daughter according to the law of Moses. Let's get another precept. Let's go to Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy chapter 6. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. It says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words, which I command thee this day, shall be in thine hearts, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. This is a commandment. You supposed to teach your children the laws of the Most High. The Lord is commanding Israel to teach your kids the laws of the Most High. And you see 2025 AD, we not teaching our kids the law of the Most High. We teaching them how to roll up. We teaching them how to dance in public. We teaching them how to party. We teaching them how to play basketball. Jake know how to play basketball before he know the Most High name. Jake know how to play football. You know how to do all these things in the world, draw or whatever. You may have, Jake, hey, we the salt of the earth. We got talent. We know how to do all these things, but not to know the commandments of the Lord. Not to know how to be a king, a priest, a princess, how to be a righteous man, woman, and child. How to be holy and set apart. This is a commandment for Israel. It says, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. Do we actually talk and sit with our kids and teach them the law of the Most High in the house? No, they give them a tablet. It says, and when thou walkest by the way, really, when y'all go to the park, you don't really chop it up with them about the Lord. You just let them do what they want to do. At least before they go run around, you tell them, hey, so and so, thus said the Lord, boom, boom, boom. However, people raise their kids, but it has to be in the spirit of the Most High, right? It says, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. You see kids be all on the tablet until they go to bed, until they take till they charge it till it die. Then they may want to go to sleep, or they crying, they want to stay on it. So this is a commandment, and Susanna parents raised her according to the law of Moses. So she had that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? If you got something out, you can bring it out.
That was a pretty. I'm gonna just bring out the same precept you just brought up because I mean that's the whole point of this little mini series that we've been going on. It's like we gotta be able to learn. I'm gonna get the classic. Let's get Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. All right, you can never go wrong with the classics. They're classics for a reason. You know, this is Romans chapter 15 and verse number 4. For whatsoever things were written above or were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You gotta find a way when we read about Susanna to find comfort and patience in her situation. Right? Now, me and this brother, we done read history of Susanna before. If you don't get no tips on patience and the benefits of just being patient from this story, I advise you to start from 0 seconds and 0 minutes and go from there. You need to watch the video again. Or you need to pause the video, because I know you catching it on the playback. You're not on here on the live. Pause the video, go read History of Susanna. Go read it, review what you read, because you have to understand this was written in the Bible for a reason. You know, contrary to popular belief, nobody who wrote the Bible or who contributed to the writing of the Bible was stupid. Nobody was inadequate. Nobody was whatever other words you want to come up with in the English language. Just think of all the things that we done been through as a people over the past 350 years, and look where we at now. I mean, we sitting here giving you the video right now. Is that not proof enough? And if it's not proof enough, well, hey, we got Susanna. Because a lot of times, you know, the women and the truth, and I've heard certain things. Of course, I won't say names, but you know, it's a sausage party, and only the men get the X, Y, and Z, and the women is just the slave. That's not the case in the Bible. Not the case at all, right? Women weren't created in the Bible to be a doormat for the men. You will never hear one of us come up. I mean, I'm sure the brother can attest to this. We ain't never gonna come up with no precept that say, "Oh, women is just a doormat to walk all over." Not at all. The Bible don't teach that. But I'm gonna let the brother continue to get into Susanna so that we can prove that instead of just saying it out of our mouth. You gotta.
Come. All right. I'm gonna bring out another precept, Sirach 30. Cause just going into that, you know, the fact that she was raised according to the law of Moses, right? She was raised in the commandments. She know the name of her God, right? She knows she's a princess. She knows, you know, how to treat a man. She know how to love herself. Because men and women don't know how to love themselves. The only way you know how to love yourself is if you loving the Most High, right? Only way you can love somebody else is loving yourself. How you love the Most High is how you love your brother and yourself, right? So this just bring I'm gonna bring this out. Sirach 30 and verse. I'm starting at verse 1. It says, "He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end." What the Lord just say? It said that he that loveth his son causing him oft to feel the rod, meaning whoop your kids when it's necessary. Don't just beat your kids because whatever that may be. That's off, right? What you call it? DCFS or something like that? You want to call them, right? But the Lord, I say, you know, they're being disobedient. You know, you might have to pop them, man, right? It says, "He that chastiseth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance. And he that teaches his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him." Right? So the Lord is telling you um how to what word I'm trying to use. discipline your child, right? Verse 4 it says, though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. Because, dealing with a son, you all those times when he, didn't know anything or he got out of hand, you beat him, correct him. That's you loving him as how the Most High loves us, putting us in captivity, having the nations as a sword to beat us so he can correct us. Hey, that's his way of loving them. That's his way of loving us. And when you teaching your kids, hey, that's your way of loving them to make sure they have uh not have a path of destruction, right? So it says one behind him that is like himself. Because with the son, just dealing with the son, hey, he gonna end, hey, you just like your father, man. He moved just like your pops. Because he was moving in the way of the Lord. Look at Isaac. He moving just like Abraham. Jacob was moving just like Isaac. You know, ain't like father, like son. Look at Yahushua. He was the image, the invisible. He was the image of the invisible God, man. He was moving on one accord with the Most High, right? I'm gonna jump down to verse 7. It says, "He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds, and his bowels will be troubled at every cry." Meaning, don't spoil your kids. Soon as he start crying, okay, okay, you start giving in. Hey, Susanna parents, they wasn't dealing with that, man. When no means no, you know, no means no. Verse 8, and horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful, right? It says a horse not broken become headstrong, meaning become hard headed. So if you're not disciplining your kids, they're gonna be very stiff necked when they get older. They're not gonna respect you. They they not gonna obey you. They're not gonna do none of those things. You tell them what to do, they're gonna be like, man, you weren't never teaching me this. Why are you doing this now? They're gonna be willful, man. And we were willful. And this is why the Lord is putting us in check, right? So Susanna had righteous parents, right? Making sure that she was going to keep the laws of Moses, making sure she meditate on the laws of Moses. So if her family righteous, hey, it's through the Lord willing, but through the spirit of Susanna's parents, she was righteous as well. What we gonna read into. So history of Susanna, right? We're gonna go to verse 4. It says, now Joachim was a great rich man and had a fair garden joining unto his house, and to him resorted the Jews, because he was more honorable than all others. The same year were appointed two of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of. That wickedness came from Babylon from ancient judges, who seemed to govern the people, right? It says, these kept much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suits in law came unto them. So that's elders that the people looked up to, you know. And the elder, that's a high status. When you see the elders, you got to get off your seat and salute them. Can't still be sitting down and saluting them. Make sure you take your hat off when you see them. You know, hey, they elders, they experience everything. They have much wisdom, especially elders in the truth, right? So all that had any suits of the law that came unto them. Any questions, concerns, can't make a judgment. Hey, they go to the elders, right? Verse 7, it says, now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk, and the two elders saw her going in every day and walking. So their lust was inflamed toward her. Now, this is where it start to get juicy, as people like to say. Because these are elders that know the law. You have Israel that look up to these elders, right? It says, and the two elders saw her going in every day. They know she's a married woman. She's married to your brethren, right? It says, and two elders saw her going in every day, walking, so that their lust was inflamed to her. They saw her going in every day, right? Walking. See that? That's and I'm gonna keep reading on. It says, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember judgments. See, another point why the Lord put this in the Bible, because he hates lust. Lust is evil, right? Covetousness, right? It's not always just sexual lust, but that sexual lust is evil, man. Because you start to look at married women, you commit adultery in your mind. Let's get that. Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. They perverted their own mind. Because when you start to uh entertain the thoughts in your mind, you turn your eyes away from the Lord. You turn your eyes away from the precepts. You turn your whole mind to what you desire instead of the desire of the Most High. This Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. So to the fact that they perverted their own mind, it's not like spirit just came to them and perverted they. No, they did it themselves. You're willfully doing this. You watched her go in every day, knowing she's married, and you had to look after Joachim's garden, right? They kept much at Joachim's house, man. That's off. It says, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember judgments. So once you dwelling in lust, you start to forget the Lord's judgments. You know, you don't know he'll kill you. You just like, man, the Lord will kill me for this. You're not thinking that anymore. You you're not thinking that at all. You know, let's get Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things. Why is the heart is deceitful? Because it will literally think things to make it seem like everything is okay, when the Most High may not even seem it's okay for whatever pops in your head. You may want to go to sleep, but have you read enough? Have you read precepts enough? You may want to relax. You may want to do other things your mind says, your flesh says, but they may not be at that time for you to do that. You may need to do more for the Most High. So your mind can trick you, man. It's deceitful, man. Their mind told them it's okay to look at her. That mind told them it's okay to lust after her, man. That's wicked, right? So let's go back to that. I'm gonna read that again, actually. Right? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Right? It's desperately wicked, man. The mind is wicked, right? Since we touching on that mind, let's go to that. Mark chapter 7 and verse 21. It's Mark chapter 7, verse 20. It says, that which cometh out the man, that defileth the man. Right? It says, from within, out of the heart of man, proceed, right? Because out of the heart of man, right, which is your mind, which is lob, right? It says, from within, out of the heart of man proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications. So they're entertaining the things in their mind. What's coming up? Evil thoughts, fornications, right? Adulteries, right? It says murders, thefts, right? It says covetousness, man, wickedness, right? Hey, that's off, man. This is what defiler, man, what's come out of the heart of a man. All this is nothing but things upon the earth, your flesh. And they was entertaining those things, And now they have a veil over themselves and they forgot about the Lord. You have an imputed mind, right? You contentious, right? You damn you prideful. That's pride. You're very prideful to think a thought and say it's okay. That's off. Because you think a thought, man. Let's get this. Let's get Sirach chapter 23. Because that's evil, man. You know. And you got Jake doing this today. Dr. Umar, man, got a video talking about some $500. And Dr. Umar would take you on a lunch date, scamming. On top of that, now you want to commit adultery, man? Who told you that was okay? Who told you in your mind it's okay to think those things? But he don't even know the Lord's judgments at all. The elders did. They knew the law. People come to them whatever they have concerns. Right? It's Sirach chapter 23, verse 5. It says, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence, and thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee. Right? Of vain hopes. That's the thoughts that they having are vain, man. They're nothing. They're nothing. So what are we learning from the book of Susanna? Right? Which you learn from many accounts. Lust is evil. The heart is deceitful. Right? Most importantly, you always watching, because the Lord is always watching. He's watching every single thought. The elders know these things. That's what's shocking. The elders know these things. They know that the angels are watching, right? They know they're not supposed to commit adultery, but they're so inflamed with their lust, right? Let's go to the definition of inflamed, right? They inflamed, man. 11. Like a blowfish. That sin was they like a blowfish inside of their spirit. Man. That's off, right? Let me get that. I could have used something else, but right, inflamed. See, it says of strong feelings. It says provoked, intensified. Man, right? Similarities. It say swollen. Hey, they was swollen with lust, man. How evil is that? That's a lot of spirits. Swollen. It says puffed up. It says burning, right? They're burning in their lust looking at Susanna, man. That's off. That's off, man. Right? You got, let me see another one. It says, infected. They were infected. Hey, that's spiritual, man. You get infected by lust now, and the only way to cure that is through the precepts, prayer, fasting. But they not doing these things. They entertaining it. So they're infected. Now they're addicted. It's a drug, man. Right? Let's get one more. I was looking at it. It says, right? It says hot, man. Hot. They inflamed, hot, puffed up, swollen, right? That's madness, man. That's freaky, right? So I'm gonna read Sirach 23, verse 5 again. It says, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence, and thou shalt hold him up that his desire is always to serve thee. Right? Sirach had to pray to get rid of lust, man. Right? And the elders knew these things, but their eyes turned away from the Lord. So they was puffed up, happy. Right? If you got something, like, you go ahead. Right? I don't know if he busy or something like that. I don't want to be long-winded. All right, but we keep going through the spirit. If he ain't got nothing. Right, so let's read that again. It says, and they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments. Right? So they just forgot about the Lord. Right, verse 10, it says, albeit they both were wounded with her love. They was infected. They were wounded, man. They was wounded. with her love, yet there's not one shew another his grief, right? Because they didn't want to express that they were lusting after her, that they was committing adultery. You don't want to come to a point where you're dealing with a spirit and you don't want to confess that, you know. You don't actually want to confess to yourself at least too, to let you, hey, I got a problem, man. I'm sick, right? Let's get that. Let's get James. James chapter 5. This is James chapter 5, verse 16. It says, confess your faults one to another, right? And pray for one another, right? So you should always confess your faults. They don't want to say, they don't want to tell nobody what they was dealing with. It says, and albeit they were wounded with her love, yet durst not one shew another his grief, right? They were ashamed, right? It says, for they were ashamed to declare their lust. They were ashamed to declare their lust. Once you don't declare your lust, right, it's over with, man. Them demons gonna overtake you, and now you're gonna do things that you weren't ought to do, right? Let's get Sirach chapter 4, right? To be too quick. Let's go to Sirach chapter 4, man. Let's lock here. Right, it's Sirach chapter 4 and verse 21. It says, for there is a shame that bringeth sin, right? And there is a shame which is glory and grace. Because shame can bring you to repentance. Shame can bring you to confessing to the Most High. Shame can also bring you to more sin. How? Because what Jake like to say, well, shit, I'm doing it anyway. Sure, I'm wicked. This me. It is what it is, you know. And they were ashamed. So shame can bring you to repentance, you know, glory, but it's also bring you to sin, man. All right. So it says, for they were ashamed to declare their lust. So you should confess your faults. You don't want to move like these elders, because as you see, they perverted their own mind, right? Through the spirit, you see they ain't go through the precepts. They just kept entertaining that thought, right? They just keep entertaining that thought, man. You know, and now they just freaking off more and more, you know, right? So it says, for they were ashamed to declare their lust, that right, Salakia, that they desired to have to do with her. So they wanted more of her, man. Keep watching her day in, day in, and day out. And through the spirit, that's how you know, brothers with doctrines and philosophies. Because that wine, right, that women can represent doctrine, man. You all into the book of Enoch. You know, you starting to believe Gentiles can be saved. They bring up strangers. Now you getting enticed, you know, and you keep looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. Now your mind is perverted. Now you're not rooted into the doctrine that the Most High gave you, and you just freak off, right? Now you in the dark, man. Right. So this Susanna verse 12, it says, yet they watch diligently from day to day to see her. Let's get that, man. You got to make a covenant with your eyes, right? Let's go to Job chapter 31. Because they watched her diligently day to day. They didn't turn away their eyes. Just because a woman is beautiful don't mean you can look at her all day and all the time, right? Let's get that. It says, all right, this is Job chapter 31. All right. This is Job chapter 31, verse 1. It says, I made a covenant with my eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid? So the elders didn't make a covenant with their eyes, man. All right. They didn't make a covenant with their eyes. So if you make a covenant with your eyes, hey, Job made a vow, man. He said, hey, I made a couple of my eyes. Why should I think about a woman? For what? Right? It says, for what portion of God is there from above, and what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked, and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? So Job knew this. If Job go off, he knew that he will be punished. He had to fear the Lord. He knew a strange punishment will happen. The editors knew this, but due to lust and them being inflamed, they didn't think upon these things. They forgot about the Lord's judgments. Right? It says, do it not he see my ways and count all my steps. You see the difference. They didn't even question, hey, the Lord do see me. No, they just, hey, they didn't want to confess. They watched her diligently. Right? Let's get Sirach chapter 9. This is the book of Sirach chapter 9, verse 8. It says, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty. So this is, you're supposed to turn your eye from a beautiful woman. Yeah, it's a beautiful woman out here, but that don't mean you just as soon as you see a woman, you just staring, man. Like it's a hot plate. That's off. All right. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as a fire. So you see, the more they stare, they got inflamed. The fire was kindled, man. And now they can't stop. Now you're searching up, you on social media, you're looking up, typing up the P word and the O word and the R and the N word, man. You typing it up. You on Instagram, you looking up old Eves from high school. You just all in your memory box because you're lusting. I did used to go into this. I did used to do this. Oh, she knew. You follow. You just going crazy. You on Facebook just freaking off, right? Because you're inflamed, man. You kindled it because you kept watching and watching and watching, man. All right, let's get another precept. All right, hold on. Let's go to Psalms 101. This Psalms 101, verse 3. It says, I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside, right? I'm gonna read that again. It says, I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. This was the spirit of David, man. He said, I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. He's telling himself, hey, I'm not finna look at nothing wicked, man. I ain't trying to see all that. That's what you got to tell yourself through the spirit. Hey, man, I ain't trying to look at that. I ain't dealing with that. You know, you see something, brothers, whatever brothers like, oh man, I gotta put my head down, man. You gotta tell yourself this, man. Look away. Right? And you see the elders, they didn't look away. They just kept staring. Right? They just kept staring. They watched her diligently from day to day, man. Every day. You every day click on that site. Every day you go on that woman page. Hey, Eves do, the sisters do it too. You in the congregation, you just watching brothers. Right? It's off. Right? It says, at verse 12, it says, yet they watched diligently from day to see her. And the one said to the other, let us now go home, for it is dinner time. So when they were going out, they parted the one from the other, and turning back again, they came to the same place. So they said, "Oh, let's go home." You indulging in whatever you indulging in, you're lusting after. You did not forget to eat, man. That's how much you were swollen by lust, infected, man, puffed up. You forgot about the Lord. Brothers know whatever spirit that you was dealing with, you damn all into it from the morning to night, and you ain't even eat nothing. You ain't even pay your phone bill. You supposed to work out. You say you was, you didn't. You said you was gonna take a walk. You didn't even take a walk. You were just in the house, freaking off. When your probably was out doing whatever, and you were just freaking off, man. It says, so when they were going out, they parted the one from the other, And turning back again, they came to the same place. And after that, they asked one another the cause. They acknowledged their lust, then appointed they a time both together when they might find her alone. So a two a evil spirits, they get along with each other, man. Right? And they hey, dang, you like that too? Oh yeah, so you see, and then they end up crafty counsel. That's off. These are elders we speaking about, right? Let's get Ezekiel chapter 8. I believe that's what I want. Ezekiel chapter 8. I could use that. But I'm gonna go to wisdom you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go to wisdom of Solomon. That. Let's go to wisdom of Solomon. Let's see, that's what I want. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6. These elders, man. These elders doing these things, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna use Ezekiel. Salakia. I'll use Ezekiel. I can still use that. I'm thinking about two precepts at a time. Right, this is Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 8. It says, Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold a door. And he said unto me, Go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. Right? So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel, portrayed upon the wall round about. It says, And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. Ancients. It says 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel, right? Freaking off. Ancients. Ain't nothing new under the sun. You got elders today trying to live like YNs, trying to keep up with the young brothers. You got our daughters of Zion trying to keep up with the young women, man. It's off. It's backwards, right? You asking one the elders got full gray beard and he trying to freak off downtown. That's off, right? That's off, right? It says, And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel, and in the midst of them stood Jahaz, Jazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up, right? So the Lord exposing these elders. These elders got exposed. The Lord is showing you how evil lust is. He's showing you of what will happen when you don't keep the commandments, right? You don't keep the commandments, you're getting judged. You don't fear the Lord, you're gonna get judged. A strange punishment will happen to you, right? Like their mind, their spirits are gone, man. Their mind is gone. They lost their top, as Jake like to say, right? Now they starting to plan what they gonna do. They it said then appointed they a time both together when they might find her alone. Now they plan to find her alone. Ain't nothing new under the sun. This is why women be missing, right? Let's get Sirach. Let me bring out precept, man. This is Sirach chapter 23, verse 18. It says, A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, Who seeth me? You know, it says, I am compassed about with darkness, the walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. So while you indulging in lust, while you just freaking off, you're so-called having a good time, right? You thinking, you may not be thinking this through the spirit, ain't nobody watching me. Can't nobody see what I'm doing. But the Lord is always watching you. You just turned into a damn reprobate. You literally just lost your mind, right? It says, this is the spirit of the elders. Nobody seeth me, right? It says, what need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins, right? That's off. It says, that's prideful, man. 19, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not the eyes of the Lord are 10 times 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, considering the most secret parts. So the Lord can search out the chambers of men. The Lord can go in that door and see what you've been doing, to see where your spirit at, where your head at, you know. So men forget about the eyes of the Lord. Because once you do these things, you feel ashamed. You don't want to talk to nobody. You scared somebody to see you. You fearing man, but you really need to fear the Most High. That's how you know you're doing something wicked, when it put a spirit on you that you gotta hide. That's a weird spirit to have, man. You put a spirit. That's weird, man. Now you damn. You trying to you like a damn kid, man. Put a blanket over you. Oh, nobody see me. Now, how about you had to fear the Lord and maybe you wouldn't be in that situation, you know? So that's madness. Right. So we go back to verse 15. So history of Susanna, verse 15. It says, all right, not to be long-winded. And it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with two maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot. So they literally, and oh man. So as you indulging in lust, you wise to do evil. You finding a perfect time to go on that website. You finding a perfect time to click that video. You finding a perfect time to meet up with an Eve. You find a perfect time for meet up with that brother. You finding a fit time, but you can't find the time to study with the Most High. You can't find the time to do it with the Lord. You can't find the time to pray, right? That's off. It said if it fell out as they watched a fit time, you know, want to freak off on after the Shabbat. You waiting a fit time to freak off. You waiting for the Shabbat to be over. When that sun go down, yeah, I'm gonna slide. That's off, man. Right? That's madness. They waited a fit time, right? And that is like the son Adam through the spirit. Adam was hiding, right? Thought when nobody's gonna see him. But the Lord see you, man. The Lord see everything, right? Let's get that. They watched a fit time, man. Let me just get that precept out through the spirit. Proverbs 15. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, meaning the angels. There's angels. The angels are taking account of everything you do and give it to the Most High. How is this in the Bible? Because the Lord is seeing everything. If you don't think the Lord is watching, read the Bible. Plain and simple. Just read it for yourself. You see everything what David did. You see what Moses did. You see what Adam did. You see what Abraham did. You see all the kings, Josiah, Hezekiah, Ahab, Asa, Judas, Noah. You see what everybody did in the scriptures. Abimelech, Jephthah, Eleazar, our mighty forefathers and our wicked forefathers. You see what they did. So if you don't believe that the Lord is watching, how is these things accounted for? The Lord just made it up. It says the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. And the Lord seeing the evil of these elders, watching her from day to day, right? Then they set a fit time. Hey, all the angels took account of this and brought it to the Most High is watching. He see everything you do. Everything, man. Right? Verse 15, it says, and it fell a fit time as they watched, and it fell out as they watched a fit time. Right? I want to get this precept in Sirach. Right? Because you find a perfect time to do whatever lust that you want to do, but you ain't gonna find a time to sup with the Lord, man. That's prideful. You're not even thinking about the Most High. The Most High knocking at your door. The Lord is knocking at just knocking. Hey, man, but you decide to fulfill your own lust. Let's get that. All right, it's Sirach Sirach, what I wanted. What I wanted. Um, should be Sirach. Sirach chapter 38, verse 24. It says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure. So the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, right? And he that have little business shall become wise. That opportunity of leisure, that means you setting a fit time to do. You may, you know what, scratch that. I'm gonna get into this. You know what, dang, Saul did to David did, I'm gonna get into that. Oh, they did. Oh man, what was that precept? And you get back into it, trying to seek the Lord's heart, man. That's setting a fit time in righteousness. They set a fit time to do what they want to do, man. To watch damn Susanna. That's off. But you literally just rather fulfill your own lust, right? So Susanna chapter 15, right? It says, and it fell out as they watched a fit time. She went in as before with two maids only, and she was desirous to wash herself in the garden, for it was hot, right? I'm gonna jump down to verse 18. It says, and they did as she bade them, and shut the garden doors, and went out themselves at private doors to fetch the things that she had commanded them. But they saw not the elders, because they were hid. So now you hiding yourself to do wickedness. And now they gotta fit this madness, man. This ain't nothing new under the sun. You got, I don't even know if I can say this word, but you got creeps out here setting a fit time to grab Eve. These women out here, man, hiding in the bushes. I don't know if brother saying you, he hiding in the bushes, man. He damn across the street by a big old tree, got sunglasses on, looking in the window and just lusting, man. Thinking about all manner of things that you don't want to think about, right? This is the spirit of the elders, man. It's off, right? It says, verse 19, it says, now when the maids were gone forth, two elders rose up and ran unto her, saying, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore consent unto us and lie with us. And the fact that they said they're in love, they lust. How many, how many Jakes you know they say they in love, but it's just lust, man. You don't even know her. Sister, you don't even know that man. You don't even know if he believes God. You don't even know if he believes in a God. He don't even know his nationality. You don't even know if he know his father. You don't even know how he treat his mother. You don't know none of these things if he take care of himself. All you see is a nice jacket, nice pair of shoes. He may have nice woolly hair, song, whatever you say. The Jake, yeah, she may, whatever you like and stuff, but she don't even know how to cook or clean. She don't even know if she believe in the Most High. There's a lot of women out there that don't even believe in God, man. They believe in horoscopes, strictly horoscopes. She could break down the chakras, like it's prophecy. That's off. It's just lust. You know, lust is not love. Love is keeping the commandments of the Most High. Let's get that. This first John chapter 5, right? Verse 3, it says, for this is love of God, right? It says, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, right? Let's get another. 2 John, verse 6, it says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments, right? Lust is not love, man. Lust is walking after the Most High's commandments, right? Loving Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, doing his will, not your own. They're doing their own will, They doing their own thing. They literally ran to her and said, hey, we in love with thee. Once you start to lust, you start get confused and you in a delusion, man. Since you want to entertain that spirit, the Lord going to send strong delusions to you, right? So let's read that again. We're going to bring out that precept. And this is the love that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it, right? So who told you that lust was good, man? Yeah, you may, lust is a desire, but what are you desiring after? I mean, in this world, people desire after things that's not of the Most High. Got to desire the commandments. So let's get that. So if you entertaining just them spirits, whatever you lust after will get you enticed, the Lord will send you a strong delusion. Now you're a reprobate. Now you thinking it's the right thing to do. Now you're moving like the elders are in the book of Susanna. Now you literally just you turn away your eyes from heaven. You don't even remember what happened to David when he committed adultery. Now you're just, he did have mercy on him. Brother, you may not have that mercy, man. This is why it's sure mercies of David. All right, let's get that. First Thessalonians. First Thessalonians. All right, it's a lot here. All right. First Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians, Shalaki. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, for this cause God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. And you entertaining that spirit, the Lord going to send you a strong delusion and you're going to believe a lie. You're going to start to believe that you are in love. You're going to start to believe that, yeah, this the one, or this doctrine is the one. All nations can be saved. Yeah, the Gentiles, yeah, the Lord said, hey, all nations going to be grafted in, man. That's what it's talking about. Deuteronomy 29:11, who's those strangers, man? That's off. You start to believe a lie, man, because you entertaining that spirit. You looking at it day in and day out, man. You're searching for it. You keep thinking about it, pondering about it. You asking questions. Hey, what if so and so? Hey, what if I did this? Oh yeah, that's off, man. That's off, right? You start to believe a lie. You start to really think you in love. These elders really thought they was in love, right? Let's go back to that. They really thought they was in love. Now you in a strong delusion now. You believe a lie. Hey, Deuteronomy 28:68, that's not talking about we was sold on the African Americans sold on ships. That's not talking about that. They did go back to ancient Egypt. When, brother? Bring it out. When that happened? You start to believe a lie because you entertaining that lust, man. You entertaining spirits. All right. That's off. You just entertaining spirits, man. Let's get that. Let's get Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 5. It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. Right? So the spirits that you're dealing with are literally your members, right? Which is that upon earth, your flesh, right? Is fornication. This is a part of the world. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, strong lust, desire, man. Just wicked desires. And say, and covetousness, which is idolatry. You got to mortify your members. Why is this in the Bible? Because the Lord is telling you to mortify your members. This is what's going to give you the fear of the Lord. This is a scary thing. You have to, when you read this, you got to be like, man, that's, you was knowing the commandments of the Most High. You entertain a demon. Now, the spirit that you have when you were serving the Lord, you don't even have that no more. You are a totally different person. That's scary, man. But all for you to entertain that spirit and the Lord sent it down. Because once the Lord sent the spirit down, there's no way you can overturn it, man. This is how the Most High sent the lion spirit on the prophets, right? Can't change that, right? Man, right? So you got to mortify your members, man. Right? Let's get Matthew, right? All the counts in the Bible is literally telling you what to depart from, right? And how to conduct yourself. This Matthew chapter 18, verse 8, it says, wherefore if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. So as we reading this, if you have these same traits, it doesn't always have to be just a woman or a man you lusting or whatever. It could be certain things. It could be whatever, Netflix. It could be, whatever that is that you like to do to have you distract you from the most high. Hey, you gonna have to cut it off, man. Right? It says, and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life, halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. It says, and if thine eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. Right? So you got to pluck these things out. That's spiritually. It's not currently saying, yeah, pluck your right out, cut your hand and your foot. No, that's spiritual. So if something is distracting you from serving the Lord, it's something allowing you to turn over your eyes from His judgment. Just why you have to examine yourself and see what is wrong with you, man. The elders didn't want to confess that. They didn't look in the mirror and say something wrong with me, right? What the brother say, Salakia? He said, I be having to think like that if I watch more than 2 episodes of the show. Damn, binge watch Spirit with yeah, yeah. Spirit to hop on you, man. So you gotta examine yourself and see. And the elders knew these things, but they was caught up, man. They was caught up. So it may not be a man or a woman. It could be other things that's distracting you from the Lord. So you gotta cut it off. Hey, this place is scary, man. This place is built for you to sin. This place is built for you to literally forget about the Most High. Do your own will, right? Love yourself. Go ahead and freak off. That's what this world want to do. The world don't want you to live like an Israelite. It doesn't want you to love the Lord. It just wants you to do what you want to do, sin. Hey, Christ, he died for your sins, man. It's okay. So whatever you do, He don't care, man. He died. That's off. That sounds so off to think like that, right? It was a precept that I was thinking about through the Spirit. Yeah, let's go to Micah. Because this place is not your rest. So you got to examine yourself and see what is distracting you from the Lord. As you see, they was distracted by another man's wife. Spiritual fornication. That's spiritual fornication. Because they literally departing from the Most High. They not focused on the Lord. They focus on something else other than the Lord. That's off. Right? Let's go to Micah. Let me get that real quick. Micah chapter 2, verse 10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. This place is polluted, man. Everything, the food is defiled, right? The air is defiled. The land is defiled. People are defiled. It's nothing but deep demonic spirits here, witchcraft and sorcery. This place is polluted. It's not your rest. It's built for you to sin. We're in a damn, if you don't know what's going on, people who don't know this truth, they in a chamber of demons, man. It's nothing but spirits here, man. So you got to see what's distracting you from the Lord. Because they knew. Hey, but did they take heed? No, they caught. They in outer dark. They in darkness now. They just Hey, they confound, they not confounded, but they reprobate, man. They think they're in love. So when you, that's hey, just with the Netflix, I'm gonna have to bring it out. You damn near falling in love, man. Dang, they got this show now. That's crazy. That's wild. Oh, they got new episodes. I didn't know they put that on Netflix. Hey, you start to fall in love, man. You start to fall in love, and the angels just looking like, come on, man, come on. You know, they may not be doing that, but hey, they want us. They want you to serve the Lord. You know, they want you to get the kingdom, right? So we can go back to Susanna, right? Chapter 20. Let's read that again. Verse 20. It says, behold, the garden doors are shut, that no man can see us, and we are in love with thee. Therefore, consent unto us and lie with us. It said with us. Right? We ain't gonna go too deep, but to the fact that as two brothers, they're trying to do something with a sister. You got that in the world. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Right? Verse 21. It says, if thou wilt not, we will bear witness against thee that a young man was with thee, and therefore thou didst send away thy maids from thee. Right? So now they willing to lie. So if you don't do what we say, and you don't get us none, we finna lie on you, man. Because you can't do that to us. They're so deep in their lust, they end up planning wickedness to fulfill whatever they wanted to fulfill, man. That's off. Now you start to justify what you doing. You start to that's off, man. You start to you man, you reading a precept, hey, defraud not thy day, you know what I'm saying? Now you just freaking off just all day, you know. That's off, man. Defraud not thyself of a good day. Now you damn playing basketball for 7 hours. You ain't read. You only prayed twice. You know. You ain't said nothing in the chat all day. You just you just hoop, played the game for 8 hours, 10 hours. You ain't read. You haven't prayed. If you married, you ain't even check on your wife. You ain't even check on your husband. You ain't. You just freaking off. You just going crazy. Now you so deep in your lust, you start to justify and think everything is okay. You think that's the right thing to do. That's a scary mindset. Like I say, it could be something small. Let's get Sirach chapter 19, right? Through the Spirit. Sirach chapter 19. Sirach chapter 19, verse 1. It says, a laboring man that is given to drunkenness, right, shall not be rich. See, they was given to drunkenness, man. They kept looking at Susanna. That one day they took a sip. The second day they looking, they took another sip. The third day they looking, they took a sip. And as day goes on, they start to keep sipping and sipping. You're gonna get drunk, right? You're gonna get drunk. It's a matter of time. You're gonna be tipsy. Now you feeling good. Since you feeling good, you want more. Now you're gonna get drunk, right? It says a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, right? Yeah, that's not uh because a laboring man, what do you do? You laboring for the Lord. You making videos, writing Hebrew prayers, checking on brothers, praying for brothers, right? You doing the sacrifices for the Lord. You uh present your body as a living sacrifice for the Most High. You putting your hand to the plow. But if you're given to drunkenness, which is whatever this place give you, or your flesh, whatever entice you, hey, you gonna not be rich. Now you're storing up carnal riches instead of spiritual riches in the heavens, right? It says, and he that contemneth small things shall fall by little and little. What's those small things? You keep indulging in Netflix. You keep indulging in video games. But if you play video games every day for 7 hours straight, how many times do you pray, brother? You start to fall little by little. Because that's how they did. They watched her that one day. The second day, the third day, hey, they inflamed. Now they so inflamed, they trying to find okay, so how man. That's how brothers is on a video game, man, Joe. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna do this and that. I gotta beat this board. They lusting. Now they lost sleep. Now you ain't eating, right? And you damn dealing with infirmities, but it's being ignored because you just focus on lust, man. You trying to quench that fire, and really you should quench it by the precepts. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, right? So they willing to lie on Susanna, man, trying to get what they want to get, right? So this Susanna chapter 20, verse 22, it says, then Susanna signed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me, and if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands, right? So, hey, she was stressed out, man. Nothing new under the sun. You have our women going through this today, right? Yeah, so all right, so calm. So so like but yeah, so what's the point yeah, she was stressed. So women going through this day to day, man. Man trying to, late at night, freaking off. So hey, the women gotta go through things too. It's not just a man. All hell break loose. Hey, you gotta go through it too. Let's get that. All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. A quick precept. Matthew chapter 5. This is Matthew chapter 5. Right, what I wanted. Verse 10. It says, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of God. So it's not just women. I mean, it's not just men, it's women that's going to go through it, man. Persecution, torture, right? You in a weird situations, man trying to overthrow you, whatever way that is. So, hey, women gonna have to go through it too. So you gotta read this Bible and realize that, hey, that can happen to me. But as we reading this story, you see, hey, how she moved. Did she have to fear the Lord? Did she have courage in the Lord? We got to see these things. Did she call upon the Most High? You have to read. This is why it's important for you to read about your foremothers, because if you're not building up your spirit, and then when all hell break loose, you won't get caught out there, man. You ain't read nothing our forefathers been through. You ain't been building up your faith through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You ain't been throwing up prayers. You just been entertaining lust. You just perverting your own mind. And people like to say, yeah, man, I feel short. Brother, you perverted your own mind. You really didn't have to do that. Brother, sister, you didn't. You perverted your own mind. You wanted to go ahead and click that video. You want to go out there and do what you want to do, man. Everything is premeditated. You keep thinking about something, you ultimately gonna do it. So how about cut down those thoughts? Do you really want to cut down those thoughts, or that's really you? You gotta look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, man. Right? So it says it says I cannot escape her hands, right? Let's read that again, verse 22. It says, then Susanna sighed and said, I am straitened on every side, for if I do this thing, it is death unto me. And if I do it not, I cannot escape your hands. It is better for me to fall into your hands and not do it than to sin in the sight of the Lord. That's beautiful, man. She had the fear of the Lord. She was raised by parents that was righteous, right? And they taught her according to the law of Moses. They taught her the commandments. She had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding the fear of the Most High. She knew about the Lord's judgments, right? And for her being in this situation, her fear of the Lord was built up. She said, hey, I'm rather just fall in y'all hands instead of just doing whatever y'all want to do, because I'm not doing it. She don't want to sin in the sight of the Lord. You got to tell yourself that. I ain't trying to sin. I ain't doing that, man. No, I can't do that, man. Hey, man, Joseph, why would I do this thing and sin against sin against the Lord God? Why would I do that? You got to ask yourself that, because ultimately, whatever you want to do, that's not you. Unless that you want to do, then it is you. You perverted your own mind. You wanted to forget about the Lord. That's a scary thing. You want to forget about the Lord. Like I said, the Lord's watching. He know exactly what you think. He know exactly what you feel. He know everything. He know if you really love him or not. He knows if you're going to actually repent, change your ways. He know if you're not. So if you know these things, it's best for you to actually start checking yourself, or the Lord gonna check you. That's something that you don't want, right? So verse 24, it says, with that, Susanna cried with a loud voice, and the two elders cried out against her. Then ran the one and opened the garden door. They ran, man. They ran. So when the servants of the house heard the cry in the garden, they rushed in at private door to see what was done unto her. So they ran. They deep in their lust and they start running. How much this is like when a baby, they not supposed to be on the phone, and you take the phone, but they holding the phone. This is what they doing, man. Because they desire to have her. They want it their way. And they not trying to let it go. They not trying to let her go. They want what they want, and we all know what they want. We're not gonna play stupid, right? It says, verse 27 says, but when the elders had declared their matter, the servants were greatly ashamed, for there was never such a report made of Susanna. And this the wicked thing, because they knew they was in a high status. They knew that Israel would listen to them. That's evil. They knew that Israel would listen to them. So this is why they was able to plan the things they planned, because they knew Israel would listen to them. That's off. That's off, man. Right? So just do the second time. We're gonna drop down to verse. All right. Let me see. All right. Verse 33. It says, therefore her friends, all that saw her, wept. Then the two elders stood up in the midst of the people and laid their hands upon her head. And she, weeping, looked up toward heaven, for her heart trusted in the Lord. And even though she was going through this, yeah, they was thirsty. Even though she was going through this, her heart still trusted in the Most High. So, man, women ain't always got to be women. Even our foremothers were dealing with this. For you going through this and about to be put to death, somebody about to cut your head off, somebody about to stab you, whatever situation or the Most High put you in, are you still gonna trust the Lord in your heart, man? While they about to put her to death, are you still gonna trust in the Most High? We gotta ask ourselves these questions. We have to meditate. We really gotta meditate on what's to come. Our salvation is near, man. Let's get that. Romans 13. This Romans 13, verse 11. It says, in that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Our salvation is near, man. Jacob's trouble coming. We got to meditate on these things like, man, am I still going to trust the Lord? That's when more prayer. That's when fasting. If you ain't been fasting, we got to get more reading in. Hey, we got to get to it, man. We got to ask ourselves these questions, because this is Susanna, mighty. They hold her, put hands on her head, getting the stones ready. But she crying and looking up toward heaven for her heart trusted in the Most High. Are you gonna look up toward heaven and trust in the Most High, or you gonna curse the Most High? Job didn't curse the Most High; he was going through way worse, right? The most Yahweh Shai didn't curse the Most High. David didn't curse the Most High, right? They didn't do these things. Razzies didn't curse the Most High, and they still trusted in the Lord, man. Right? So we can go down back to it. Verse, let me see. Second time. Right, let's go to it, right. Verse 41. It says, then the assembly believed them as those that were the elders and judges of the people. So they command her to death. Right. So I'm gonna go to this precept because everybody didn't even like question if she really did it or not. But to the fact they so wicked, the two elders, they're like, oh, it's two witnesses. More than one witness, somebody's able to be put to death. You know, and if that's crafty. That's off. You use that's what Israel be doing, be using the scriptures to their advantage. They say they use this, man. That's what Jake be doing. That's what Christians be doing, man. Be twisting the Bible, and you damn that's all. Right. Let's go to Exodus. You trying to use the precepts to freak off. You use the precepts to freak off. The Lord gonna get up with you, man. The Lord gonna get up with you, man. You know who you is if you doing that. You know. That's all. Right. This Exodus chapter 23, verse 2. It says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to rest judgment. So you should never follow a multitude to do evil. They didn't really actually see if she actually done these things, but due to their wickedness of the elders, them knowing the law, they use the law to do wickedness. And through the spirit, when you see, because it's two of them, more than one witness. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 19. Deuteronomy 19, verse 15. It says, one witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses, or at the mouth of three witnesses, shall the matter be established. Right. So it's not just one, but two or three witnesses. The elders knew the law, man. The elders knew the law, and they used it for their wickedness, man. And you should follow a multitude to do evil. You got to have discernment, right? So let's read on. Verse 42, right? It says, then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, O everlasting God, thou knowest the secrets and knowest all things before they be. So as she's going through this, gonna be put to death, she still prayed unto the Most High. Are you gonna do that? You surrounded by heathens, you surrounded by your own brothers, they trying to slay you. Are you still gonna call upon the name of the Lord? Man? Right? It says, thou knowest that they have borne false witnesses against me, and behold, I must die. Whereas I never did such things as these men have maliciously invented against me. And the Lord heard her voice. Right? And the Most High heard her voice, man. Right? We heard her voice, man. See that? So are you gonna call the name of the Lord? And the Lord heard her voice. So the fact that this is what helps your faith, build up your faith, because the Most High knows the secrets. He know the things before they be. He know what you're going through. Everything was set up by the Most. Everything was ordained. He want to see if you're gonna call upon him. He gonna take you out, right? And he know that you can handle it. And it's not for you. It's just for the will of the Lord. It's for the will of the Lord to be done. So somebody who never experienced or whatever, you can teach them these things, right? Which we brought out on the last video, right? So the Lord heard our voice. So you got to cry out to the Lord. When we cried out in Egypt, the Lord delivered us. And we still doing that to this day. Most are willing we be delivered out of this place, Babylon, man. Don't nobody want to dwell here no more. Like we brought out this land polluted. It's nothing but sorcery. You get headaches. Your taste buds be jammed up. You know, your skin get dry here. All of a sudden, you get a pimple on your face. You don't know how. You just jammed up, man. This place is wicked. Yeah, we can go on about this place, man. We need to get out this place. We continuously grown in the spirit, man. Right? Let's get that, man. Right? This Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel signed by reason of the bondage. Right? They signed and they cried, and their cry came up unto the Most High by reason of the bondage. Right? They cried. And your don't think your cries are not being heard by the Most High. Because if you start to think that the Most High don't hear your cries, hey man, you gonna destroy yourself, right? Because what if Susanna? We wouldn't have this account if Susanna just, hey, he don't hear me, man. He don't know what's going on. The Lord know what's going on, right? Verse 45, it says, therefore, when she was led to be put to death, the Lord raised up the Holy Spirit of a young youth whose name was Daniel. And we see through her still be able to have long suffering. She had the fruits of the Spirit. She was long suffering. She was patient. She had temperance, right? She cried upon the Lord, and the Lord heard her cry, man. And the Lord raised up Daniel, who, when you read this account, be able to get her out of this situation. But it's all through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. So Lord willing, this video was, edifying. You able to take these priests up or read this account and see that, hey, she was a mighty foremother, and you need to have these traits if you don't have them, right? So all praise to the Most High. Lord willing, the brother's okay. He probably in a situation. Uh, hey, Ak, you good, Ak?
Yeah, man, so much going on this end. Salakia, y'all.
Con, you
But
good, Ak? You good?
like the brother said, though, Lord willing, we can get, we can continue this thing, man. I'm just having technical difficulties, but you know, with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for another opportunity to preach this word another week, man. With that, shalom.
Shalom.